It's Esper. This jeans low head had arms crossed kid with a black tee.
So I'm gonna tell you guys this really crazy ass story about this girl that I knew and that she actually lived in my house. So we're gonna name her Erica. So there was this girl Erica, and this all happened in 2012. There was this girl Erica, and she had requested me on Facebook. So around the time that she had requested me, I was like 19. So Erica, she requested me on Facebook, and I seen from her Facebook pictures that she was a pregnant single mom. And me, I empathize a lot with pregnant single moms. She seemed like she wanted to be friends, so I was like, alright, cool, like if you want to be friends, like that's cool. Like I feel like when you're pregnant, it's really important for you to have like a really good support system and really good friends. And with me, even though I'm a really shy and awkward person, if you need a friend, like fuck it, I'll be your friend, like that's cool. Erica, you know, she requested me on Facebook, I accepted her, and it turned out that we actually had a lot of the same friends and we knew a lot of the same people. Because if you haven't seen on my other videos, I got into raving when I was 15. And here the rave scene was really big, and there used to be all these like rave crews, and I was in a rave crew. It turns out that I don't know if she had been in the same rave crew. I honestly don't remember. But the whole point is that we knew a lot of the same people. We had a lot of the same friends. You know, a lot of the same people. We have a lot of the same friends. Like, it's cool. You know, I wasn't sketched out about it or anything. We started talking and stuff. And, you know, she seemed really cool. I mean, even during this whole time, she was actually cool. Like, she wasn't, I don't know. I guess looking back at it now, there was a lot of signs that there was something wrong with her. But, like, I don't know, she seemed cool, so I was like, whatever, like, you need a friend, like, bitch, I'll be your friend. Yeah, so we, like, started talking over Facebook or whatever, and she was, like, talking about how she had been dating this guy or whatever, and once she got pregnant with him, he kind of just, like, dipped on her. We had been talking for a good while and stuff, and this one time, this was like at a time that I had moved out from my parents' house, because I had only moved out of my parents' house for about like 2 months. I don't think it was longer than 2 months. The whole point is I had my son, and he was only a few months old, and I moved out of my parents. So I had moved out or whatever, and like all my friends lived really far. Like my high school friends and my brother and everybody lived really far. And she actually didn't live that far from me. Like she lived kind of like in the rural area where I was living at the time. I honestly don't remember how this happened, but the whole point is that she wanted to hang out, so I was like, alright, cool, we could go hang out at the mall. And at the time she was pregnant. I don't know how far along she was, but she was showing, like in all her pictures she was showing. We went to the Aurora Mall, and that's where like we met for the first time. And like I said, in her picture she was really pregnant, and in person she was really pregnant. And we were just hanging out, and she met my son, and you know, he was only a few months old, and we hung out, and it wasn't weird or anything. Like, you know, she seemed like she was a cool person. I want to say a few weeks later, because I know I still was living outside of my parents' house at the time, she invited me to her baby shower. She had like she sent me an invitation and everything. She had made it like a thing on Facebook and everything. And she invited me to the baby shower, and I actually didn't go, but I had seen on Facebook, like after the baby shower, that she had her baby shower, like, and she was having a boy. And her son's name, I guess it doesn't really matter what his name is. Her son's name is Dylan. She had a jungle themed baby shower for her son Dylan, and like I said in the pictures, it was like her parents were there, her family was there, like friends, I don't know. There was just a bunch of people in the pictures. So she had her baby shower and everything. It seemed like she didn't really have a lot of friends. She would tell people that I was her best friend or whatever, and she had actually, like, after some time, she asked me to be her baby's godmother, and I was like, well, you know, like, fuck it, that's cool, like, I like babies. So I would always be asking her like how she was feeling and stuff and this and that. So after those 2 months, me and my son moved back into my parents' house. She would come and like visit and stuff, and I had my son, he was already a few months at this time. When I say he was like 7 or 8 months. So all his clothes that he was growing out of, I had it in bags, and I told him, like, here, you can have it for your son. Like, the kids grow out of their clothes really quick. Like, you can take all his clothes. It's cool. She would take the bags full, like, and they were big bags because my son had a lot of clothes. She took bags of my son's clothes with her for her son. So with whatever baby stuff that I had that I didn't need anymore, I would just give it to her and she would take it for her son. After a while, she went into labor or whatever, she had her son, and you know, I was really excited for her. And I would ask her to send me pictures of him, and she sent me a few pictures of him, like some pictures of his little feet, some pictures of just him as a baby and stuff. And he was cute, like he was a cute baby, so I was like, oh, that's cool, like that's really exciting. So me and her hung out a few times after she had her son, and she would come and she would never bring her son, like she never brought him. And the thing is that the time that we went to the mall, she had a baby car seat in her truck. Like, there was all these signs that she was getting prepared to be a mom. So I had seen like the baby's car seat and everything, but she would never bring him to my house. And I didn't think it was weird or anything. She would come to my house all the time and we would hang out, and she had met my parents, she had met my little brother. We had never met her baby, like we had never met him. I took her around with some of my friends, like some other friends I had that weren't from the rave scene thing. And a lot of my friends didn't like her. Like they thought she was weird as fuck. And I didn't really like see it. I was like, well, I don't know, I'm kind of weird, so I fucking don't know. But all my friends were kind of sketched out by her, and I don't know why. I guess the vibe that she gave them was like kind of like a sketchy, weird vibe. So anyway, so at this time, there was this guy that I was friends with in high school that I knew. At the time, me and him were hanging out a lot, and he had met her, and he always said that she was kind of weird. Like, I don't know, and I'm telling you, this guy had known him for years. So this certain guy, I would hang out with him a lot on the weekends and stuff, and we would go out like to the club or we'd go to the movies, and I would always bring her along because, you know, like she wanted to go out, so I was like, fuck it, we'll go out. And she would come out with us, and he always thought that she was kind of weird. And so we would all hang out, the three of us, and like I said, all my friends were kind of sketched out by her. This one time, she had a little brother, and I don't know if I think her little brother was younger than my little brother. My little brother at the time, I was 19, so my little brother was 16. We would hang out and stuff, and this one time she wanted us to go and hang out at her house. So I was like, alright, cool. And she lived in like, it's kind of like Aurora, like the nicer part of Aurora. And we were driving and stuff, and we went to go to her little brother's school, and then we were gonna go to her house, and we were driving around for a while, and then she was like, no, my mom, she has my son, like they went out to I don't know where, so if you want, like we could just go back to your house. And I was like alright. So I had never been to her house. She had always been to my house, and that one time that I was gonna go to her house, we ended up not going to her house. So I had never been to her house. I didn't know where she lived. So fast forward a few weeks later, and I remember this night because it was snowing like really, really bad, and I had been talking to my mom, and I came into my room, and I had like a few missed calls from her. Called her back, and it was like nighttime, and it was snowing, and I called her, and she was crying. She says that she had gotten in a really big fight with her parents, and they had kicked her out. Like she wanted to see if I could go pick her up or whatever. So I was like, well, like that's fine, you know. And I was gonna go, but at this time I had a Toyota Camry, and it wasn't like all-wheel drive or anything. So my dad was like, no, like it's kind of far, I'll take you, like we could go pick her up together. And me and my dad went, and we drove over there to her place, and when we got outside, she was standing outside in the snow with all her stuff. And I was like, and we had gone, because when she said that she had gotten kicked out, I assumed that her baby was with her. We got there, and she was out there with all her stuff. And like my parents are really, like, they're really nice people. They try to help everyone. So, you know, like, as soon as we seen her, my dad was like, alright, like, let's get her stuff. She can come and stay with us for a while. So, taking all her stuff, and she was, like, crying or whatever. And I was like, where's Dylan at? And then she was like, oh, like, my parents, they just kicked me out, but they said, like, to leave Dylan with them and this and that. And I was like, I don't know. My parents were really involved with my son, so I didn't think it was weird for her parents to be really involved with her son. She came to my house, and she had all her stuff, and I was like, well, it's whatever, like, it's cool. I didn't mind having her around, even though everybody else thought she was pretty sketchy. I was like, well, it's whatever, like, she doesn't really bother me or anything. And she was a cool person to hang out with, regardless of all the sketchy shit. She was like a cool person to hang out with. That's why I didn't think twice about it. So we were like organizing all her stuff in my room, and we made a space for her and everything, and she was like telling me that it was gonna only be for a while and she was gonna get a job and everything because she was in college at the time. She was like, I'm gonna get a job, I'll pay rent, whatever. And I was like, all right, that's cool. Like, I know you're going through a hard time or whatever, like, it's cool. She lived with me for a month. And he said she wasn't like I didn't feel like she was a bother or anything. She would leave to go to school and stuff, and she would leave to go see her parents and to see her son, and she would come back and I would ask her how her son was, and she said that he was really good and this and that, and that like her mom told her that once she got a place that she can take her son to live with her, that she just wanted them to have like a stable home. So this whole time I had never met him, and he was already, I want to say, like a few months old at this time. I can't remember exactly, but this all happened in 2012. There was like a lot of signs that I look back at now and I'm like, damn, that should have been like a red flag for me, that there was something weird about her. Okay, so she had told me the whole story about her, like Dylan's dad and stuff, about how it was, how he didn't want nothing to do with her, and she told me this really crazy story about how Dylan's dad lived with an aunt, and they were Mexican, and that Dylan's dad's aunt was really into like black magic and shit, and I was like, like, I believe in all that stuff. I was like, I don't fuck with that shit. Like, and she would tell me all this really weird stuff that Dylan's dad's aunt was all into. So we're gonna name Dylan's dad Tom. So she showed me Tom's Facebook and everything, and he seemed like he wasn't, like, he didn't care about Dylan or anything, and I was like, what a sack of shit, you know? Like, she would tell me this whole story about how Tom was, and, you know, like, how after she got pregnant and stuff, they, like, split up, and I don't know if the aunt had something to do with it. I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but it was, like, a really weird thing. But I was like, you know, like, what a sack of shit. He's like all these guys that they just get girls pregnant and then they dip. So this one time we were in Aurora, and this was before she moved in, like right before she had moved in, we were in Aurora at a gas station, and she went inside to pump gas, and she came out and she said that she had seen Tom, and I was like, really? Like, where's he at? I want to see him. And she was like, yo, they just left, this and that, and I was like, alright, that's weird. And she would tell me that while she was pregnant, Tom's aunt would follow her around in places, like, and all these places that she would be at, Tom's aunt would be at, and I'm like, dude, that is so weird. And she would tell me that Tom's aunt wanted to do something to the baby and this and that, and I would tell her, like, dude, like, that's really weird, you know, like, you should go to the cops or something, like, that's not, I don't know, that's not normal. Yeah, she would tell me about Tom's aunt, that they were really weird, and that when she was pregnant, before they had split up, she had walked in on the aunt doing some weird, like, black magic shit, something with like La Santa Muerte and shit, and I was like, bitch, don't tell me this shit, because I believe this shit. Like, this shit was scary. So I was like, dude, like, you should not have your baby around them. Like, if they're gonna be doing some weird ass shit like that, you should not have your baby around them. Yeah, the whole point is that it looked like Tom was weird and his aunt was really weird. Fast forward to when she's living with me, there was this guy that she told me I should talk to or whatever, that he was really cool and this and that, you know, I would really like him and this and that. So I was like, alright, that's cool, like, I'll talk to him. And he was really nice. He said that he was one of Tom's friends, but he wasn't anything like Tom and shit. We were out at a club, and that guy texted me and he was like, hey, what are you doing there? And I told him, well, I'm at a club, and he asked me what I was gonna do after, and I'm like, well, I don't know, like, I'm with one of my friends. And my friend Erica, she was like, tell him that you're with me and see what he says. So I was like, alright. And then he was like, oh, what's your friend's name? And I told him it's Erica, da-da-da. And he was like, after that, he didn't text me. He unfriended me from Facebook, and I feel like that should have been a red flag. But when I told her that he had unfriended me and he, like, didn't reply after that, she was like, oh, it's probably because of Tom and this and that. And I was like, that is what it is. Like, what else would it be, honestly? So there was just like a lot of like little weird random things that she would do. So this one time, me and the guy that I went to high school with, we would text each other all the time. Like, he was a really good friend, and he texted me once something like really personal. I was like inside of a store or whatever, and when I came out, she was like, hey, your friend from high school texted you and he said this. And I was like, what? Like, dude, why are you going through my phone? Like, why, you know? And I was kind of like bothered about it, because like I said, me and that guy went really far back, and like the stuff that we would talk about was just like between us. And I'm that kind of person that if you tell me something and you're like low key about it, I'll keep it to myself and it's a done deal. So I was kind of like, dude, why would you go through my phone? Like, this is a really, like, personal conversation with me and him. Like, if he wanted to tell you, he would have told you. So that was, like, one thing that bothered me about her. It was, like, little stuff in here and there that started to bother me. So there was this guy that I knew from the rave crew. Like, he was one of the main guys, and his name was Sam. And Sam had a child with one of my really good friends, and we're gonna call her Samantha. So Sam and Samantha had a kid together, and at the time I knew Samantha, but I wasn't really, like, friends with her because Sam would tell me a lot of crazy stuff about Samantha, and I was kind of, like, afraid to be friends with her because of all the stuff that Sam would tell me about Samantha. So me and Erica, we were talking about that guy because I had posted a picture of me and Erica together, and Sam was like, "Oh, I didn't know you knew my ex," and I was like, "Yeah, like, we hang out together all the time," and he was like, "How weird, ha ha ha." And I told Erica about it, and we were talking about him, and she asked me if I talked to Samantha, and I was like, no, because, like, I knew Samantha, we had hung out a few times, she seemed like a cool person, but after all the stuff Sam would tell me, I was like, like, I'll say hi to her and stuff, but I don't know if we should really, like, hang out together, her and I. Erica and I were talking about it, and she was like, yeah, I don't think Samantha likes me because she knew that I had dated Sam and this and that, and I was like, I don't know, dude, like, I don't really know her that well, honestly. But after a while, I guess that Erica and Samantha started talking, and they kind of became friends. Yeah, like, me and Erica talked about it, and she was like, yeah, it's like, whatever, like, they're not even together, whatever, so, like, whatever happened before happened. So during this time that Erica was living with me, her parents would call her a lot, like, a lot, and, I wouldn't, like, eavesdrop on their conversation or whatever. If they would call her, I would leave the room, or she would, like, go outside or whatever. So I didn't really hear about what they were talking about, but this one time after they had called her, Erica was kind of upset, and I asked her, like, what was wrong or whatever. She was, like, saying that her parents wanted for her to move back in and this and that, but she was really upset because they had gotten in a really big fight, and that's why they had kicked her out in the first place. She had told me that her parents told her that they accepted her however she was and this and that, but I never knew exactly what they fought about. I just knew that they had fought about something. Erica and I, we would hang out together and stuff, and all my friends thought that shit was weird, and she really wouldn't do anything weird. Like, she wasn't here all the time because she did go to school, and she would go see her parents or whatever. Like I said, she was a cool person. Like, she wasn't really, I don't know, like, she did do some, like, annoying things, but I'm a really irritable person, so a lot of stuff that you do is gonna bother me. So fast forward to, it was like around January. So me and my boyfriend were working things out, whatever. He moved into my house, and she was still here, and I was like, well, she can't live here if you're gonna live here. Like, it's not, like, that's not how things are gonna work out. Like I had said, her parents kept asking her to please move in, like, to please go back home. Like I said, this whole time that she had lived with me, I had never seen her son, not even once. Yeah, so she lived with me, and my boyfriend moves in, and I told her, I'm like, dude, well, why don't you just move back home? Like, you can't live here if he lives here. Like, that's not, like, it's not gonna work or whatever. So I kept telling her, you're gonna have to move out. Like, just go back home and be with your parents and be with your son. Like, like, that should be, like, the most important thing, because you haven't even got a job or anything. Like, you've just been here. So it's not like you're gonna get a job anytime soon, or, like, whatever, you should just move back in with your parents. There was this one weekend that it made me really, like, that was just, like, the breaking point for me, because I have, like, my rooms are connected. So in one room, it's, like, the room with the beds, and then the room that I'm sitting in right now is, like, the room where I had the TV and my clothes and my makeup and all that stuff. So the rooms are connected. And we would sleep in the room with the beds, and she would sleep on the floor. Like, why would you want to sleep on the floor, like, when you can just go back to your house and live with your parents? Like, it's not even that hard. This one weekend, I had told her that I needed her. I told her, we're gonna go bring all of my boyfriend's stuff, and he has a lot of stuff, so I need you to get all of your stuff and move out. We went and got all of my boyfriend's stuff, and we had them in my car, and we came to the house, and what really made me mad is, instead of her leaving, she invited Samantha to come over to the house so that they could get ready to go out to a club. And that really irritated me because, like I said, at the time I wasn't really friends with Samantha. I didn't really know her that well, and I had already told Erica that I needed her to move out of my house. Instead of doing that, she had Samantha come over so that they could, because when at first I seen Samantha at my house, I was like, well, it looks like Samantha's probably going to help her move out. I don't know. I don't really know Samantha. And instead of that, they were getting ready to go out to the club. And that really irritated me a lot. Because I'm like, dude, I asked you to move out of my house, and instead of you getting your stuff and moving out, like, we already have my boyfriend's stuff in the car, and instead of you getting your stuff together, moving out, you're getting ready to go out to the club. I was like, I'm like, damn, well, this bitch got me fucked up because I already told her I need her to move out. So that really irritated me. The next day, Erica went out to I don't know what, and I told my boyfriend, I'm like, well, I need your help to pack up all her stuff, and we're gonna leave it at the door, because I asked her nicely, and I had asked her, I think it had already had been like a week, and I had been asking her to please get her stuff and move out. She didn't get it, so I packed up all her stuff and I left it at the door. Now, me and my boyfriend and my son, we went to Walmart. So during the time that we were at Walmart, she came to the house and she got all her stuff. When we came back from Walmart, like, her stuff and her were gone, so I was like, that's good. I was really annoyed with that. Like, it had really taken me off that whole thing of her and Samantha coming to my house and getting ready instead of Erica moving out. So after a few hours, she texted me and she was like, hey, I'm back with my parents, this and that. Like, I just want to let you know I'm safe. And I was like, because like I said, like, she had been really cool up to this point, but with that, I was like, I felt really annoyed about it, and I felt really disrespected about it. After that, me and her were still, I guess, kind of like friends. We weren't really like hanging out or anything. We still had each other on Facebook, but we weren't really like talking or anything. I don't know how it happened, but me and Samantha started talking. I'm trying to think. I don't know if it had something to do with Erica of why we started talking. The whole point is that we started talking. And then it turned out that Sam had been lying about all the stuff he had been saying about Samantha. Like, everything he was saying about her was a lie. And I was like, dude, what? Like, what? And it turned out, like, me and Samantha are really good friends. And Samantha's actually one of my best friends now. Like, so Samantha became one of my really good friends. And we started talking. We were just talking about, we were talking about Erica, and I had told her because I had realized that some of my stuff was missing. I had, like, some clothes missing, and I don't really wear a lot of heels. I don't have a lot of pairs of heels, and the one pair of heels that I would wear a lot wasn't in my closet anymore. So I asked Samantha if she knew where my stuff was at, and Samantha told me, she was like, is this what it looks like? And she described what I was asking her about, and I'm like, yeah. And she was like, oh, Samantha told me that night that, because that night they were going to go out and we were already going to go to bed. So during that time, Erica told Samantha to put these heels and these shorts in her purse because they were going to change, like, I guess outside of the club or whatever. So I was like, dude, like, what the fuck? And then Samantha was like, yeah, like, I didn't know it was your stuff. She said it was hers and this and that. And I was like, Samantha, like, it's cool. Like, I was already getting to know Samantha really good at this time. So I knew, like, that I knew that Samantha didn't know what was going on. So right before that, I had gotten a call from this college, the college that I actually went to, and they had called me because Erica had given them my information in case I wanted to go to college. And like I said, Erica had been going to college for this time. I think she was going to be like a medical assistant or something. They called me or whatever, and we went, me and my mom, and they offered a bunch of different stuff, and what I was interested in at the time was business. So I enrolled into the business program. They helped me out. Like, it wasn't going to be that expensive for me to go or anything, so I got enrolled. And I think at the time Erica was already done with her program because the medical stuff doesn't even take that long. I got into the college or whatever, and at the time Catfish was a really popular show. I don't know what time it had come out or whatever, but in the show Catfish, when Neve talks about how you can Google search images or whatever, me and Samantha started talking about Erica. We just thought that a lot of the stuff that she was saying wasn't adding up. Like, there was something a little sketchy about her. Samantha, we're talking or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, dude, let me send you the pictures that she has sent me, because I still had them saved, because like I said, Erica wanted me to be Dylan's godmother. So I have pictures of him, and she had pictures of him on her Facebook and this and that. So we grabbed all those pictures, me and Samantha, and we went to Google, and we were searching them. And we had a lot of hits from these pictures. And we actually found a couple of the pictures on someone else's Facebook. And we found another picture on this like Russian website. We don't know what the fuck it said, but it was like this website. I seen that and I was like, you know, like, what the fuck? And then we went to that Facebook that we had seen the picture on, and it was of this girl. Well, we found this girl, and I messaged that girl, and I was like, hey, I sent her that one of those pictures, and I was like, hey, is this your son? And she was like, no, that's my friend's baby. And I was like, who's your friend? And she gave me her friend's thing, and I was like, what the fuck? I messaged the girl that other girl had said it was her son, and I told her, I'm like, hey, this is really weird, but is this your son? And she was like, yeah. And so I told her, I'm like, look, I'm like, this is really weird or whatever. And I told her about Erica, and I told her Erica has these pictures of her baby Dylan and this and that. And she was like, Erica? She's like, I know Erica. And I was like, what? She was like, well, I used to be friends with her, whatever. And I told her, like, about everything that had gone on and stuff, like all the sketchy stuff about her. We're talking about it, and she was like, yeah, like, I used to be friends with her, whatever, but she was like, I don't know how they had their falling out. She said that she had once seen Erica, and she touched her stomach, and that Erica's stomach felt really fake. And I was like, well, I don't know, like, I never touched her stomach because I don't like to be touched. I don't like to touch other people, so I never, like, touched her or anything. And she was like, yeah, like, her stomach felt really fake and this and that. And she accepted me as a friend on Facebook. That girl, we're gonna call her Sarah. So Sarah was the mom of the baby that was in all those pictures that Erica had been using. So I went and I looked at Sarah's Facebook, and those pictures were actually really old pictures of her son. Her son at the time was already a few years old, and they didn't have each other they didn't have each other as Facebook friends or anything. And I was like, what the fuck? So me and Samantha were like, dude, like, what the fuck? Like, that is so weird. Like, who does that? You know, so she wasn't only using like a picture from some weird Russian website. She was using pictures of a girl she had actually been friends with. And it was really weird because I'm like, well, why is she using all these pictures? Like, she had a baby shower and everything. So fast forward a few weeks, and I was in college, and I had to go do something in the like main, like in the office thing or whatever with all the staff. And there was this staff member that she was really cool. I'm not gonna say her name or anything. I don't know if she still works for the school. I don't know. But the whole point is that she knew Erica and she knew me, and she was like, oh, hey, like, how's school going? And I was like, it's going cool, whatever, da. And she was asking me, she was like, oh, like, how are you and Erica? And I was like, well, I don't know, like, we don't really talk anymore. Like, she did some really weird stuff. And I told her, I'm like, yeah, she had lived at my house and this and that. And she said that she had her baby Dylan or whatever, and I had never met. And she was like, what do you mean she had her baby? And I was like, yeah, like, her son Dylan. And she was like, what? Like, she told us that her son had died. And I was like, bitch, I was shook. I was like, what do you mean? And she said that, yeah, that Erica had to come in, and she had like this really sob story about that. Like, I don't know if she had miscarried or what had happened. The whole point is that her son had died, so there was no baby. I mean, we had seen the pictures and everything, but it was like really weird to hear what this staff member had to say about Erica, you know, that like her baby had died and this and that, and that she had been really sad about it, and I don't know, just all this crazy stuff. And we were like, you know, like, dude, like, what the fuck? Like, we weren't even sure why she had been using that other girl's pictures or anything. And I told her, I'm like, I messaged that girl that she had been using your pictures, and she said that her stomach felt really fake, but it was really weird because she had had a baby shower and everything. I mean, she had a car seat in her vehicle when she was pregnant. So I was like, I don't know. So it was like really weird. So I told Samantha about all this, and we were like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, that. There's that one thing that really pisses me off, is for girls to lie about being pregnant or lie about having miscarriages or whatever. Like, if you want attention, cool, but find another way to get attention. Like, I don't respect it. So I had told Erica about that, like, when, you know, when we were friends and stuff. I told her about like drama and stuff that I used to get into, and I told her like about, you know, girls that I would have drama with because they would be lying about stuff like that. Like, this whole thing, like, it really made me mad, because I'm like, bitch, like, how the fuck are you gonna lie about that and then use your friend's pictures? And, you know, so it made me question everything that she has said, like, you know, about Tom, about Tom's aunt, like, about the baby. Like, was she pregnant? Was she ever pregnant? Was it something that she just did to, like, get under Tom's skin or try to get back with him? I don't know. Like, still to this day, I don't know what the hell happened. I'm not a confrontational person, but there's just some stuff that if you do, I'm like, I just have to tell you something about it. I sent Erica a message and I sent her screenshots. We took screenshots of this shit. We took pictures of this. I took pictures of the conversations and everything, and I sent her a picture. I sent her one of the pictures that she has sent me of Dylan, the one from the Russian website. I sent her that picture and the picture of the website, and I told her, explain now, in like big ass capital letters. I was like, damn, this bitch got me fucked up. Me and Samantha were like tweeting to each other, like for everybody to see. We're like, if someone doesn't own up to what they did and this and that, we're gonna put them on blast. And I don't know. We were just, I don't know. Like, I don't regret it. So I'm like, I really don't know what to say. And I actually still have the messages, so I'll post them on here so you guys can see. Like, I'll blur out her name or whatever. Because what if, I don't know if something really was wrong with her, like what. But I'll post it blurred out. So, me and Samantha, being me and Samantha, we were like tweeting to each other, and we're like, if she doesn't reply to us in 5 minutes, we're gonna put her on blast. And we were just counting down, and she didn't reply. So I was like, bet. So I guess she didn't know that we had all this stuff. So on Twitter, we put her on blast, and we were tagging her in everything. Everything hadn't even been up for like, I want to say had been like 2 minutes, maybe less, and she deleted her Twitter, and she deleted like all the friends that she had met of my friends. She deleted everyone off of Facebook. She took down her page, or she had blocked us, I don't know. So we didn't really like get to, I'm like, well, whatever, like we put her on blast and shit. Like I had told that staff lady what had happened, and she was like, that's so weird. I was like, I know, that bitch is so weird. And after that, like, we weren't friends or anything. And when I told everybody what had happened, they were like, no wonder she seems so fucking weird. Like, why were you friends with her? She was weird. And I'm like, well, I didn't know she was weird. Like, like, I'm a nice person. At the time, I was really naive. Like, I never took any of these signs as this bitch was up to something weird. The good thing that came from all this is that now I'm, like, really careful with posting pictures of my kids and stuff. Because I don't want anyone using my kids' pictures. So because of the situation as well, I don't like to post pictures of my kids. Like I say, pictures of my kids, I'll watermark them and everything with my name. So if somebody uses them, like, bitch, that's my kid's picture. And like I said, another good thing that came from that, outside of that, was me and Samantha became really good friends. And like I said, to this day, Samantha is one of my really, like, she's one of my best friends. Like, we never heard from her again. And I think it was in 2013, some year 2013, me and Samantha, we went to this event, and I was on my phone, and Samantha tells me, oh, I see Erica. And I guess Erica was walking right past us, and she seen us, and she booked it, and we ran after her, and she ran in through the crowd, and we never seen her again. And I don't know, like, the whole thing, it was just really weird, because it wasn't like just her that was doing all that weird stuff. It was like her brother. Like, on Facebook, he would talk about how much he loved Dylan, and Dylan was the best, and this and that. So it was like, like, it was one thing for her to lie about it, but like, her brother was in on it too. And I was like, okay, that's fucking weird. After my little brother had passed away, I got a notification, because I had a picture of my little brother as my cover photo, and I got a notification that someone had tagged themselves in my picture. And I was like, who the fuck tagged themselves in my picture? And I went and I looked, and it said that her brother had accidentally tagged himself in my picture. And I was so mad. So I sent her brother a message, and I was really mad, because like, you don't need to be crazy as fuck. Do not be tagging yourself in my brother's pictures. Like, you got me fucked up. And I told him, I'm like, just let your sister know that she's crazy as fuck, and when I see her, like, we're gonna have a problem, her and I, and especially because of her doing this disrespectful ass shit. And I blocked him, and I went and I tried to see if I could find her picture, like her Facebook. I couldn't find it, and that's like it. I haven't seen her ever since. I haven't heard of her ever since. And a few months ago, this girl that knew both of us, she asked me, she was like, hey, what happened with you and Erica? And I told her, and she was like, what the fuck? And I was like, this is a story I have to tell, because it's weird. Like, you guys need, the whole point is, like, I feel like with all the little red flags, I should have realized something was going on. But I mean, this was like a really big lie. Like, this whole thing that she did, I don't know if she ever was pregnant or what. Like I said, she had the car seat, she had a baby shower with her parents. Like I said, I don't know if she really miscarried and she just decided, I'm gonna just pretend to have a baby, or like what it was. But it was really weird. It was weird. And I think that's why her and her parents might have fought. Like, this is my theory, that her and her parents fought because they had found out that she was saying that she had a baby and this and that, and it wasn't true. Or I think that she faked her whole pregnancy and her parents were really like ticked off about it. That's my theory. I really don't know. To this day, I don't know what the hell happened. But yeah, the whole point is you guys just need to be careful. Like with me, I feel like I should have realized something, and I should have never let her live in my house. But like I said, I'm a really nice person, so if you need help, I'm gonna help you out however I can. It was really weird. Like, I don't get what was the whole point of that. But yeah, like, be careful where you post pictures of your kids. Like, if you have an Instagram, just be really, really careful. And like I said, that's exactly because of this whole thing is why before even making my Instagram public, I was like, I'm gonna take down all the pictures of my kids. Because to the extent that she went of using an old friend's son's pictures, you know, so like the baby in the picture was real. It was just this little kid at the time. I think he was like 5 years old when she was using his old baby pictures. Pretty sure she sees my stuff just because she was a really weird person. And another thing that I had on my Facebook, you know how it says like that your activity log you can check. She would be like, hey, can I use your Facebook and this and that? And I'd be like, well, yeah, whatever. Like, I don't have anything on there. And she would always be looking up some girl, like some girl's name. She was constantly looking up that girl. And I don't know, I never messaged that girl or anything because I don't really know what was going on between them. But she had a lot of stuff with this girl. Like, she was always looking her up. And now thinking about it, I'm like, that's kind of weird. Like, that must have been some other girl she was like, I don't know, obsessed with or something. So I feel like to this day, she most likely looks up my stuff. I mean, after my little brother had passed, it had been a year of us not talking or anything. So I feel like that just goes to show that she was looking at my stuff. But yeah, she was really weird. So just be careful, guys. Like, some people are weird as fuck. And if I find out anything, or if like this video causes anything, I'll let you guys know. Like, I'll update you guys on what happened. But I don't know, that shit was just weird. Like,